All right, so the first thing you do, open up your Big Green Egg. Got the Kick Ash basket here. I'm just going to shake it, get all the old stuff out. I'm going to lift that tray out. As you can see, it's already pretty empty. I'm going to lift this out. A little bit that's left in there, and I'm going to go throw that in the garbage. All right, once I got the grill pan back in there, I'm going to go ahead and put the charcoal basket back in. Just like so, and I'm going to go ahead and pour a bunch of lump back in there. Just filling up that basket. Just using the Big Green Egg brand, 100% natural oak and hickory. So I got that all around. I'm going to grab 2 to 3 chunks of apple wood here to kind of bury it just a little bit. Do that for now. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start this. So here I'm just using the basically just the Big Green Egg brand charcoal lighters. Kind of bury them a little bit, just a few different places. You could also use a charcoal basket if you have one. And I'm just going to go ahead and light these. I got the bottom vents open for my Big Green Egg. Obviously I got the ember protector closed. Windy out today. Sure that these are going to stay lit by themselves. All right, I got them going pretty good, and I'm going to let these cook for about 10 to 15 minutes. All right, while this charcoal's starting to warm up, it's well on its way. All 3 of those pieces are mostly burned up, except that top right one, so we'll give it a few more minutes. Make sure I have my indirect cooking set up here, ready to go. This is from the CGS ceramic grill store, and it's worked out really well. You see I got the 2 half moon plates down there for indirect, and then I go ahead and I wrap up my drip pan, stainless drip pan here in tin foil. You don't really have to do that. I just do it because otherwise it's just a mess, and with the tin foil there, it's going to make it a lot easier for cleanup. So basically, once that grill is good to go with that charcoal, I'm going to go spread the ashes around a little bit. I'm going to drop in my basically my stack system there and let the grill come up to temperature. All right, so the charcoal is looking good here. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of spread out some of the ashes that are kind of already lit. Kind of put my wood chunks, kind of bury them a little bit. Alrighty, so we got those charcoal cooking spread around pretty evenly with the chunks of wood in there for the smoke. Go ahead and I drop my stack back into the Big Green Egg. Basically, I'm just going to go ahead and close it right now. I'm going to open up the vent at the top just to make sure that it starts cooking here, start coming to temp. As you can see, I kind of I reoriented my temperature gauge here, so once it's at 250, it's vertical. So if I'm looking at it in from the window from the kitchen, if it's pointed up, I know it's roughly 250 plus or minus around 25 degrees. So that's just another easy way to, instead of coming out here and reading it directly off of the gauge. As you see, I start getting some smoke coming in here from the wood chunks and the lump. Basically, now I'm just going to wait until it hits about 210 degrees before I start to close off the air supply. Right now, I still have the vents pretty much wide open to allow the charcoal to come up to temp. So once we get up towards 200, I'm going to go ahead and start again and start closing off the air supply to make sure we have the right amount of intake for the temperature that we want. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and prep my chicken. All right, so here's the 2 chickens that I'm about to cook. You know, only about $7-8 at the local Kroger. I didn't dry brine them. I'm too lazy to do any of that, and honestly, I don't really think that it really makes enough difference for me to tell. As you can see, I put a good helping of rub all over it. I make sure that I lift up the skin here, and I push some of the rub actually onto the chicken breast, and basically just liberally apply it everywhere. You know, some people talk about putting oil around it and then putting the rub on. That's all fine. I don't really plan on handling my chicken a whole lot once I put it on the grill, so I'm not really worried if it's you know, if it slides off or anything. I don't think it will. A good rub that I use here is Big Papa Smokers Sweet Money. I've used this on pork, I've used this on chicken, I've used this on ribs. They have a lot of really good rubs, and I'll show you the link in the description below. Anyway, it looks like the grill is getting up to temp, so I'm gonna go out there and make sure I dial those, basically the intakes and the cap accordingly. All right, so I kind of missed it a little bit, but I'm gonna go ahead and close it off. It's about right up there, just a little bit there for 225. And then down here, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off to about right there. And I should see that temperature start to come down a little bit on the dome temp, right? Just remember, if it's about 270 here, it's a little bit warmer there at the felt line. So I'm just gonna give it a couple minutes to stabilize out before I throw the chicken on. All right, we're back out here. Really only was about another 5 minutes here for that temperature to start working its way back down. Pretty much just enough time to clean up the mess I made in the kitchen. All right, let's open that up. The smoke's coming along nicely. I'm gonna go ahead and throw these chickens on. I'm gonna go breast side up, of course. As much over the drip pan as I can. Make sure I kind of cover that meat up as best I can. It's kind of ripped it a little bit. I got the first bird on. Second. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and throw the second one on here. Just making sure that not touching, or if they are, just not very much. Again, making sure that I got everything closed up here. That way it'll cook a little bit more evenly, protect the breast a little bit with that skin. All right, I got those on. Really now I'm just gonna close the lid here. Gonna let it cook at about 250 for about 2 hours to try to impart as much smoke, and then we'll go from there. All right, so the meat's been on for about 2 hours now. In the breast temperature is about 120. I'm probably going to keep it on probably for another half hour before I let the temperature rise to be able to, you know, kind of cook the skin a little bit more so it doesn't produce that rubbery texture. So I'll check back here in about 45 minutes. All right, checking on the meat right now. Looks like the kind of innermost is about 155. Outside is about 160. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that these are done. Yeah, it says 155, but just realize that, you know, obviously those are 165 is an instantaneous temp. You know, 167 back here, so these are good. As you can see by bringing the temp up, you know, it made the skin a lot more crisp. Instead of like that rubbery texture like it kind of was while we were smoking it. So this is going to be really good. So basically now I'm just going to take the chickens off, and then while the grates are still hot, I'm going to use my grill brush made by Big Green Egg here. It's kind of made with kind of wood bristles, so kind of like not the metallic ones. And I'm going to go ahead and brush the grill down while it's warm. All right, and I'll show you what a final product looks like. So overall, how did the cook go? Honestly, I think it went pretty well. As you saw from the pictures, the meat was actually really juicy. There was a good amount of smoke flavor. So kind of in recap, we had it on the smoke for about 2.5 hours there at, you know, around 250 degrees. I think, you know, just to make it even better and maybe a little bit less smoky, I'd probably only go maybe for an hour and a half, just to kind of get that hint of smoke. My wife and my kids still definitely like the chicken. As far as the skin goes, it does still end up a little bit rubbery, you know, but the meat was still really juicy and tastes really good. So I think next time, just to make kind of both of those better, I probably only put it on the smoke for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half tops, and then immediately raise the temperature to about 350 to 375, and let it cook for, until it gets to about 160 degrees, 165 degrees internal temperature. Hope you enjoyed this video, and looking forward to making more. Thanks.